Individuals, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Pokemon Thursday, the day of the week we talk about absolutely anything to do with the BFG, the big friendly fucking giant. The Iron Giant. I like the Iron Giant. I got so excited for the Iron Giant in Ready Player 1, and I never give a shit about the Iron Giant before, but all of a sudden it was in Ready Player 1. I was like, oh god, Iron Giant. Sorry, we're talking about Pokemon. What the fuck am I on about? Here to do a revisited video of what we've done before in the past. I, as well, I'm sweating my dish off. Fuck me. I look like the fucking lost member of One Direction at the minute. Hey, baby, baby, baby. That's Justin fucking Bieber. You don't know you're beautiful. We're here to talk about Pokemon, and we're doing another Ash Ketchum related video because quite a while back I said my ultimate Ash Ketchum team, where I give out, you know, this is a team of all of Ash's Pokemon that he's caught that I would do. And it's been a little while and a few new additions, and I think I have added a couple of them additions to the team. And I thought, let's do it again. He's on his way out. I should mention that because I cry and get sad. And what the fuck are you looking for? Elbow to the butt. I cry and get very upset. What are you sniffing for? What did you sniff? Creeped me out last night because like we were just chilling in bed and like he likes to sleep in between my legs and make like a cozy little nest. It's actually quite cute for a saggy dog. And I'm like, oh chill, and then all of a sudden there's like a slight little noise downstairs. I think it was a picture falling. He's like that. And he's trying to steady go around the door. He's like, and I'm like, stop it, mate. You're freaking me out. You're freaking me out. You're freaking me the fuck out. Are you saying hi to the visuals today? Or are you being an ignoramus? No, he's jumping off the bed and saying bye. Story time on Pokemon Thursday. We're here to talk again about Ash's Pokemon and me making a team of 6 out of Ash's Pokemon. Now, this isn't a competitive team. It's not a team I'm saying Ash's 6 best Pokemon, you know, to use in competitive battles. You could use them rules for this, but the only rule that I go off is just any of Ash's Pokemon, choose 6 of them, whatever you want, because they're powerful, because you like them, because they're cute, because, you know, they mean something to you, emotional, whatever the fuck it is. Anything you want to let me know about your particular team, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this team. Like I said, it's not the most powerful. There's a lot of type clashing and matching up in a bit, but I've gone for Pokemon that I am emotionally interested in and emotionally invested in, I should say, not emotionally interested. I've got emotional interest in Squirtle. Squirtle's not on the list. You know what I mean? So there's no real way of doing it. It's just six Ash Pokemon, okay? I think I've explained that enough. It's another goodbye video because it's probably going to be the last Ash Ketchum video I'll do or will do for a good while. We'll probably again bring it back up, you know, when he returns inevitably in like 10-15 years time to be like, oh kids, I remember when I chucked balls at animals. It were eat fun. Kids, have fun. If he does return in 10-15 years, he'll still be relatively young, so I'm acting like he's a proper old man. He won't be old. The visuals, our rules are established. Like I said, let me know your teams in the comments and as to why, or your ace. I am taking Pikachu out of this team. Not that I don't like Pikachu, it's just Pikachu's not one of my favourite Pokemon, and I'm not, you know, a huge... I love Pikachu. I am a fan of Pikachu, but I'm like a huge fan. The Pokemon in his team, I am more of a fan of, and this is the team I'm using. So here we go with number 1. It's off, of course, it's his Bulbasaur. My favourite starter of all time. My first ever starter of all time. And me and James were in the comments below not long ago, when which video it was now. We were talking in the comments, and here's how his favourite starter of all time is Mudkip, because it was his first starter. I think, anyway, it was his first starter at least, and he loves the homing games because that means something to him. It's the same with Bulbasaur. I can't overlook Bulbasaur. But then you sprinkle into the personality of Ash's Bulbasaur, the bodyguard, this big, badass fucking... Well, it wasn't that big, but you know, this brutish Bulbasaur that was ready to step in and help out whenever. The way he interacts with his other Pokemon, especially another Pokemon as well that I have on this list, which we'll talk about in a sec. And I just fell in love with it. And as well, it was a bit stubborn towards Ash at first, how it stopped itself from evolving and whatnot. The whole thing was absolutely just awesome. I loved his whole arc from even Ash revisiting and going, seeing him again. How Bulbasaur was using a few key battles and really got him out of a few jams from time to time. Bulbasaur's amazing. I fucking love it. Of course, it was going to be on the list. Next up, it is Heracross. This is the Pokemon that I mentioned. Interact with Bulbasaur, keeps wanting to suck the sap. I love the story of how he got his Heracross. There was the whole Pinsir shenanigans, and he got Heracross to feel big and bad. I keep saying big, you know, but good enough to fight back and do what it needed to do. And Ash's Heracross was amazing. I loved it. The story wasn't probably as You know, as heartwarming as the Bulbasaur story. It maybe doesn't hit as hard, but Heracross still gets more points anyway in its corner for me because it happens to be my second favourite Pokemon of all time. I fucking adore Heracross so much. So Ash got one. It's in his gallery. I get to choose 6 of Ash's Pokemon. Of course, I'm going to pick Heracross. It's one of the ones that I have tattooed as well. Why did I point at my dick? It's on my leg. Yes, I know. Anybody that's regular viewers of the channel, you know this one's already going to be in there. Pidgeotto. Not only my favourite Pokemon of all time, it's the Pokemon that I just absolutely adore and idolise because of emotional reasons. I did a whole video explaining why I love Pidgeotto so much, because it is, I understand from a neutral's point of view, like, why the fuck have you randomly chose the middle stage bird when you can go for, you know, the big green Rayquaza dragon, or, you know, Charizard, or Mewtwo, or Groudon, fucking Zekrom, Reshiram. I'm just naming legendaries and stuff here at this point. Yeah, but, you know, there's a million other Pokemon. Well, not quite, but there's a load of other Pokemon you could choose. But Pidgeotto will always be near and dear to my heart. I remember the early stages getting it as a rare, because in the base set it was a rare, wasn't it? Because you got Pidgeotto in the jungle set. I remember always having Pidgeotto on my teams. Bulbasaur might have been my first ever Pokemon, but Pidgeotto was my most consistent. Every time I replayed Pokemon, Pidgeotto were always on my team, and I always loved when my Pidgeotto. I do love Pidgeotto, and I do love Pidgey, but Pidgeotto, I've always loved it that extra bit more because of Ash's and how amazing it was. And I'll never forget the moment that it was so determined to evolve into a Pidgeotto, to chase away the fear and Spearow that were attacking the other Pidgeys and Pidgeottos. You could say, well, that's Pidgeotto doing that, but it was Pidgeotto that wanted to fight and stand up for its, you know, fellow Pidgey brethren, and it forced itself to evolve. And it was that love of Pidgeotto coming in when they were cold and wrapping its wings around everybody. Pidgeotto is just a class motherfucker. So consistent. It's probably the Pokemon that's been on near enough. Probably it's been on my teams more than any other Pokemon, because I'm constantly replaying through Red and Blue, because obviously you can beat them within not too many hours. So I'll just sit back, I'll put a film trilogy on, like, let's have another replay of, I don't know, Yellow, and Pidgeotto is on my team. It's always going to be there. I love Pidgeotto. Funny though, the one that I haven't got tattooed, because when my tattooist was doing my tattoos, he was newish. He was like, I don't really want to try a bird yet. Can we do other ones? But there will be a Pidgeotto on there eventually. Stop, it's Crocodile, a Pokemon that come out of nowhere for me. It's not so much Ash's one in particular with the glasses and whatnot, but a Pokemon, like, I love it when Pokemon's like, oh, we've got this Crocodile Pokemon. It's not water type though, and you're like, oh, okay. And they give it this, to me, it's a mad typing to give a Crocodile. Well, I kind of get it, because, you know, it's a sand crocodile, it's a land one anyway. And I get, in the laws of Pokemon, I get it. But I love the color scheme. I love the moveset it gets. I love how every time, again, like a lot of these Pokemon, I start a journey in Gen 5, he is always on my team. If he's involved in a Dex, I will always go out my way to get them. In Scarlet and Violet, I went all out the way. Never used it in the team because it was my first playthrough. But as soon as I done my playthrough, I went out my way to get a Crocodile. Well, you know, Crocorock and all that kind of shit, and then evolve it and just let it look at it run around when I was making my doing my picnics and whatnot. But it's a Pokemon I've always been enamored with. I know necessarily people might look at it as like more of one of the bad guy sort of Pokemon, you know, the dark typing and a lot of Team Galactic. Plasma. Some of them had Crocoroks and whatnot. But Crocodile for me has always been a legit badass, and I always found the more love and embracing side, I guess, with Ash's Crocodile. If any of this is making any sense, probably not. I don't know, I just fell in love with it. Again, another one that I think I can get the tattoo out for them easy. I think right there. Yeah, just fell in love with him. Amazing, badass, beautiful little fucker. Up, it is Goodra, another Pokemon that if Ash never had one, I'm not necessarily sure I would put it up there, because it's in my top 10 favourite Pokemon of all time. It might stem in and out because my Pokemon list constantly. It's a guarantee, without a shadow of a doubt, in the top 15. Sometimes it might step in and out the top 10. Fucking love it regardless. But if Ash never had one, I don't know if I would love it as much. It was that Goomy falling onto Ash's head And then the story they went through and how, you know, weak Gumi was, and then Sliggoo's a little bit better, and eventually Gudra. The fact that Gudra come back for Ash in the Kalos League, and the fact that Ash was so close to winning that. I know the battle was Greninja against Charizard, but the whole thing, Gudra played its part and whatnot. And Gudra is a super duper badass, powerful Pokemon. It's solid dragon typing. And as well, if you go to the Hisui region, you've got this whole new depressed big shell motherfucker of a Gudra. He's so amazing and so awesome. Great design, great evolution method. Super powerful and has a beautiful story inside of the anime. Well, Ash's one does anyway. Has a beautiful story inside of the anime. So Gudra is on the list. Finally, this one is again because of an amazing story we had with Ash. But it's his Rowlet. I told you this team wasn't going to be very balanced and very, you know, amazing. This was quite a hard list as well to make. I wanted the likes of Sceptile in there. Even his Swellow, his Gligar wanted in there, Snorlax, Lapras, who else was I fighting for positions? Even his Palpitoad. There was so many Pokemon I wanted in here. But anyway, I went for Rowlet as my last one. Not only because it's my second favourite starter of all time, I fucking adore Rowlet again. One that's tattooed. Oh no, I haven't got it tattooed. I was going to do tattooed, but we did Grookey instead. One that will be getting tattooed. But I loved his Rowlet in the show, the way that sometimes it would sleep in Melmetal's little thingy bit, or is in his bag sleeping. When we first got revealed, when the Sun and Moon games come out, and you're like, oh, this new grass Pokemon, you're like, oh, it's a little owl. Owls being in my top favourite actual real-life animals of all time. Fucking love owls. But the little memes and stuff you'd get, that meme where it was fighting ground, it would turn its head around and be like, fuck, what am I supposed to do here? Everything about it, I just fucking love so much. It's a combination of my two favourite types of all time, grass and flying. It's a beautiful, amazing Pokemon, and I fell in love with it even more when Ash got one. Yes, I could, you could argue that I love it a bit more when it becomes a Decidueye, but, maybe, I don't know, but Ash just never went into a Decidueye. It stayed as a Rowlet, so I'm safe for this choice. But visuals, there's my 6 favourite Pokemon that Ash caught, and hopefully we'll have them spread about here somewhere. What do you think, visuals? I understand if you're like, if you want to go from this from a competitive angle and you want to choose 6 Pokemon to put in a competitive team, then I completely understand that. I completely get it. Go for it. These are just ones that I find, I'm more emotionally attached. I'm a very emotional person, you know. I have feelings. And these are Pokemon that I've just completely fell in love with on Ash's journey for their own individual reasons and whatnot. So there are some biased ones in there. Even without Ash having one, Bulbasaur, even without Ash's one, Bulbasaur having an amazing story, I probably still would put it in there. Heracross was always going to be in there. As long as Ash caught it and just used it once, I would still put it in there because I love Heracross so much. Pidgeotto was always going to be in there. So yeah, I bet you, anybody like James, I bet you probably could have predicted at least 4 or maybe even 5 out of these. I bet you. Let me know in the comments below if you could have predicted these for me in the comments. But let me know yours, please, because that's more important, because I want to get the conversation going. Visuals, more importantly, thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Ash Ketchum, one more time for being such a massive, pivotal, important point in my life, and thank these Pokemon for also being parts of that story, which then impacted my life, and still do to this day. That's probably going to be, like I said, our last Ash video for a good while, but visuals, thanks for watching. You guys are literally best. Keep being you and keep on keeping out.